Former U.S. President Donald Trump, now the first in American history to face federal criminal charges over the handling of classified documents. Trump immediately hitting back, saying he is being unfairly targeted.
Our country is going to hell, and they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI. We can't let this continue to go on because it's ripping our country to shreds.
The charges stem from top secret documents that were found at Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago in Florida. He's accused of illegally taking them after losing the election. He's been ordered to appear at a federal courthouse on Tuesday in Miami. He faces 7 charges. And by the way, this is just the latest in a series of legal troubles. He faces charges in New York and a criminal case there. He's pled guilty. He also is facing a legal investigation in Georgia as well. All right, let's bring in our Washington Bureau Chief, Joy Malbon, who's standing by in the U.S. Capitol with more here and what it actually means for Donald Trump. Joy, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump broke the news himself last night on social media. He's the one who told the world that he's being indicted. The indictment is still under seal. We're not sure when it will be unsealed. Likely before this court case on Tuesday, maybe a little bit earlier. What we do know is a summary was given to his lawyers and to him. It outlined 7 criminal charges that have to do with those classified documents, falsification of documents, willful retention. There's even an espionage charge in those those criminal counts. This is serious stuff. These are federal charges. The New York case is a state case, the hush money case. But this is pretty serious stuff. But, you know, here's the thing with Donald Trump. He is using this to his political advantage right away. As soon as he put out that social media post, he was fundraising off of it. And you may remember last time this happened with the New York case, he raised millions of dollars because, of course, his supporters believe him when he says this is political persecution. This is weaponization of the FBI and Justice Department. They're out to get me. Remember all those sayings, the witch hunt, the hoax, that sort of thing. But this is serious stuff, Todd.
All right, what's the sense, Joy, from political analysts in terms of the impact this may, or as the case may be, may not have on his run for the White House?
Well, that's just it. He can still run. He can't. There is nothing in the Constitution that says he cannot run if he's been charged with a criminal count, even if he's. Well, I don't know that it would work if he was put in jail, but there's nothing in the Constitution that says he can't run. If he were still president and impeached, he couldn't if he was charged. So he can still do this. It's interesting, though, because his Republican rivals, many of them, Mike Pence, the former VP, just said that he wants to see the indictment. He wants the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, to come out and say, what kind of proof do you have? What kind of evidence? Because he sees this as deeply divisive. Now, none of his Republican rivals see this as an advantage just yet, because he is still the front runner and nobody wants to antagonize his MAGA base, those supporters, those millions of supporters that still support him. But just a few other details that we've learned today. The judge who will be overseeing the case is a woman called Aileen Cannon. And Aileen Cannon was appointed by Donald Trump, a Trump appointee, and she will be overseeing the case in Florida. You mentioned when it will all happen. The other thing that has happened, which is interesting, is 2 of Donald Trump's lawyers who were out on television last night defending their client have resigned.
Yeah, and just before we go, I mean, I mentioned the case in Georgia. I mean, we may see charges in that case as well over election interference. So, you know, sort of to be continued. This story has multiple different chapters that are kind of all unfolding at the same time as, of course, Trump is trying to win the Republican nomination.
Yeah, absolutely. The case in Georgia where Donald Trump is heard on tape asking election officials to overturn the election, find him more votes than Joe Biden. That's a pretty strong case. There's also the January 6th. What evidence do they have about Donald Trump, inspiring the insurrection, the attack on the Capitol? The other thing that has happened today, Todd, is another person has been charged charged. A personal aide to Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, a so-called body man, personal guard, that kind of person, Walt Nauta, who has been seen on videotape moving boxes around. He has been indicted as well as a co-conspirator in some of these alleged criminal charges against Donald Trump.
Lots of threads. Thanks for this, Joy. Always appreciate this.
Thanks.